Welcome, folks. Welcome. We are going to enjoy some of these tunes while we wait for folks to come in, wait for the leg situation to work itself out. One thing I do advise as folks come in and get going, I'm going to be sitting down here, talk for a little bit. Bring a drink to sit down with, enjoy through this. Relax your jaw, lower your shoulders, and then it's like, oh, now my jaw's relaxed, right? Yeah. I am curious how long the lag time is. I should be watching on my phone, but the music, and I can't do both because I have to turn the sound down or it's going to echo. So, that's how it's going. Yeah, so we're just gonna let this get started and enjoy the music. It's been rainy here. It's been rainy here a lot. Every day there has been some rain. That you can tell by how bright it seems in here. Still seems really bright. So, I'm going to see if I have somebody checking in on comments. Okay. So we've had weather today, or all week. It's just rain and kind of cold, and rain and kind of cold, and you get these moments where it's clear, and it is right now, and I'm hoping it lasts because it's been hard on our internet, and actually June was really pretty rainy, and just all of June was. So it was hard on our internet. It's not being the greatest, and so I have big hopes for it today. So I'm going to turn the sound down and I am going to tell everybody about what we are having going on here today. So what is going on today is what I have happening is on my website, you can apply for a free reading, and I choose one of them once a week. So I choose one of the readings or one that folks sent in, and I do it live. I keep the person anonymous in that they choose how they sign their request. And this week's request is going to come from Jessie the Original. And so we're going to do Jessie the Original's reading here this week. And I do see we have somebody in. I'm not sure how long the lag is, but if you're in, let me know. Say hi. I want to say hi back. So check us out. Let me see who's there in the comments. And most especially, we do want to see, if Jessie the Original's in, that'd be cool. Or though, then they probably don't want to say they're Jessie. No, Jessie the Original doesn't have to say they're Jessie the Original. That got slow on the uptake sometimes on the on the point of anonymous, but we got it. We do. All right. So if anybody wants an oracle card reading, they can ask now, and then I'm going to get started. If anybody, comes in later, you're welcome to ask for oracle card readings at the end also. So we had some questions, and I picked Jesse the Original's tarot question. Now, Jesse the Original sent in 2 questions. And I really do hope folks, prefer you send in one. I am more likely to choose one most of the time, maybe not all the time. So Jesse the Original sent in 2 questions. And the first question was, how are my finances? Well, we are going to use, I'm figuring this out. We are going to use Mystic Garbage to look at how is Jesse the Original's finances. We're using Mystic Garbage because it's usually not a good day when you're asking the spirits, is it okay? Are things okay? So we'll see. But we're going to use Mystic Garbage to answer the question of how are my finances. And so going to use, we're also going to use Star Spinner today. Jesse the Original's other question is wanting to know how their preteen daughter is doing. She wants to know, how is my preteen daughter doing? And absolutely. In fact, we're going to take a little look at how your daughter is doing for sort of an overview. And then we're going to ask 3 questions in a spread that I developed as a mother. Because it's real. Like, we need so much guidance. So my parenting spread, how to guide or help my child, the means I have within myself to help my child, and then the means I can develop. So I, like a capability in parenting your child that you haven't seen or realized or been aware of yet. And so you can develop it and work on it. And the means I can look to others for, because we're not our child's only guides. And so there's areas where there's other people in our children's lives where, we can invite them to be guidance in those areas that, we're perhaps not as strong as, because it takes a village, right? It takes a village. So that is the question we are going to get to second. And I'm just going to plug in what we're doing. The first question, how are my finances? And the second one is going to be how is my, I'm having typing problems because I'm learning to type on a computer instead of on a phone. So we are going to, you can see both questions we're doing in the chat, but I've pinned the one we are doing right now, which is the first one up. How is my finances? Jesse the Original wants to know how's my finances? And like I said, we're going to pull out Mystic Garbage for that, because it's always a day in the Mystic Garbage neighborhood when you were asking your tarot readers, how are my finances? So Oh, this is interesting. This is definitely interesting. And what was going on? Oh, so we have got a few things going on in this situation, and we are going to take a little look through it. So the first thing up in your finances, as I learned to do this, we have the 5 of Pentacles here. And we see with the 5 of Pentacles here that, like, there was a time sitting in the past where you're like, I don't care. I'm doing this anyway. I'm just going to shit all over my financial responsibility, and what comes, which left you like really constrained and strangled in your financial situation. However, there are other cards that fell out that look really good. So we have the Empress. And so with the Empress, we know that there is new possibility, something brand new that is brewing, and these tend to be things that will continue to grow. From new things that come in with the Empress tend to be things that go from seed to harvest. So, that seed has just been implanted in this glory hole of opportunity, and the seed has just been planted, but it is growing. And it is growing in really good ways. We have the 9 of Cups. It is going to go from potential to this is what you've been wanting for a little while. There's a new job opportunity, and it's going to lead to more job opportunities. But which hand is, no, this. Too much of this whole eat your heart out. Too much eat your heart out. I'm climbing back up. Too much going back. I put down the wrong card. Too much going back to this 5 of Pentacles, instead of saying, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to shit in anything. You're like, oh, everything's super amazing. Don't count all your dreams before you have them. Like, it's a seed that grows to a harvest. These two aren't happening quickly. These two are not happening quickly. Getting to a 9 from a 3 is a fairly lengthy process. Okay, it's a fairly lengthy process, and you need to be careful about it. You need to be practical about it. All right. You need to be very practical about it, because the other thing that was coming out is the 5 of Cups. Too much of this is going to lead. Too much of this too much of this is going to set you back. It's going to set you back to where you were before, and where you were feeling constrained. And the thing I want to bring up about this constrained, I mean, it came from a devil may care kind of attitude, but the impacts were large for you on a mental level, even more than an emotional level. It messed with your mind, and it stressed you out massively, which is why, even though things are improving, you're asking me how you're doing, because you want the best news, but you're terrified of the worst news. And So what you need to remember is 3 to 9. I'm going to mark these spots on my table. But the backwards thing has me going. So 3 to 9 is time consuming. It's work. It takes work to get from one to the other. All right. So that's why you need to be careful. You can't just sit there and eat your heart out because things are better than they were somewhat recently. There's a lot to be really practical about and really conservative about. And when you start at the seed, like you do a whole lot of preparing at that seed stage. So you want to do a whole lot of preparing for this so that you get to that 9 of cups. You have to prepare for it. You can't live like you're at the 5 of cups when you're still at the 3, or you're never going to make it to the 9. And that's what is coming in. Things are looking up for you. You need to not mess it up, because if you do mess up, that 8 of Swords is a problem. And it's going to make it hard for you to continue with the new opportunities. You're going to be too stressed out. It's going to affect your mental health. So, in those regards, be practical. Be practical. And tell others in your household, no, it's time to be practical. We tried impractical. It didn't work. No more eating our hearts out. All right. So we are going to bring up the second one here. And folks, you can ask for oracle readings when I wrap this up. And you can also apply to have your question answered here on Saturdays. I said it was going to be later. It's going to be 4 p.m. because that's our most consistent internet time. And since climate change means we can't predict the weather, as this month has proven to me, we're going with 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also promise that I have found a list of videos that's going to teach me how to do this in really optimum ways. I just got this camera today and this laptop yesterday afternoon. And so I have a whole lot to learn, including focus, Zoom, stuff like that. And I will take time to mark out, this is where it will get set up. This is where I need to hold the cards so you can see them optimally. I'll work on all that. I will figure all of that out for all of you. But anyway, so you can go to my website, auntykstarot.com, and you want to go into bookings, pricing, services, appointments. And when you get into there, you'll see all the list of bookings. And in the top section, which is red, are my specials. And the very last one on the specials list is win a reading. And so you win a reading. So a whole bunch of people can book it. There's one booking spot. So it's a shared booking spot. And you fill out what your question is, and you fill out, whatever we're going to call you on this live. And so Jesse Original chose Jesse the Original as a nickname. And if I choose your question, I choose your question, and it gets done here. And you can watch every week. We all enjoy watching someone else's reading. And I should not move quickly on this because my internet makes it weird. But anyway, so we are going to get to this reading. And afterwards, if anybody asks for oracle readings, we will do that. Okay. Y'all are not a chatty bunch. And we'll figure that out. Okay. Because everyone expects me to do talks. You'll catch that later. Now we're doing something else. So we are going to use Star Spinner, and we are going to look at my friend's questions and concerns about her preteen daughter. And I know exactly how that feels. I have 6 kids. 7 are adults or teens. And so I have done a number of these preteen years. So we're going to take a look at how Jessie, the original's preteen daughter, is doing. And then we're going to use my own personal parenting spread that gives me 3 places to help and guide my kids. All right. So we have the cards fill out in 2 sets of 3s here. The cards fill out in 2 sets of 3s here. And I am just taking a pretty good look and seeing what we are getting here. See where it is best for me to hold these. Yeah, I really need to figure this out. Sorry, folks. All right. So we have the 3 of Swords, 8 of Arrows, and the 6 of Coins. And the 6 of Coins isn't usually a signifier card, but we are talking about a preteen child. And so in this case, this is a signifier card. This is Jessie, preteen. And what we see going on here is the 3 of Swords and the 8 of Arrows. Okay, so we have the 3 of Swords and the 8 of Arrows going on here. I'm not surprised to see a 3 of Swords for a preteen. It is emotional and difficult and devastating time. And it feels like everything is just going too fast and going out of control, and you don't know where you are, and you don't know who you are, and you don't understand who you're about to be, because you do know that you're about to no longer be a child. And this really does describe the 3 of Swords with the 8 of Arrows. And, a lot of that is emotionally what they are going through, hormonally what they are going through. And it's just that time. It's just that time. And you just need to be sympathetic to it. Her trials and troubles are going to seem mild compared to yours, but they aren't. Not for her, right? I still can't figure this balance thing out. They aren't mild for her. They're dramatic for her because she doesn't understand, because they're all new. And just like they were dramatic for you when you went through all those preteen feelings at one point. All right. So it's important to remember that, and to treat like a lot of these things as broken heart issues. There's loss. Childhood is ending. There's losses in her life too, though. Things in her life that she wants, but maybe doesn't know she wants yet. These years, she's going to redefine what her heart really wants in all kinds of ways, not just, romantically, friendship, wise, music wise, clothing wise, personal understanding wise, and also a sense of identity. Hugely sense of identity. All right. And so then we see Mama here, just the original. You're worried, right? You're worried. Of course you're worried, but you need to look up from your worry. You need to look up from your worry in order to figure out what her worries are. And that is super hard to do as a parent because we're internalizing all of that. We're internalizing all of that. But you need to. And one of the things you need to do for her is to show her how she can self-discover herself, how to discover who she is. When we're little, we want to be just like our parents, our mothers. And she's getting to an age where she's going to want to be not like you at all. And that's because she needs to figure out who she is. So you can also mitigate some of that I'm not going to be anything like you by helping her figure out how to take off these blinders that society puts on us that change us to like narrow identities that aren't well expressed, and help her do that. And I would say in like good long talks kind of ways, but also books. We're looking at swords. So she needs an like intellectualized, and I don't mean academically, but she needs like hard facts on this stuff to needs to not be subjective, needs to be very objective. You know, this is how you express yourself, this is how you find your identities, this is who you are, this is the history of who you are, this is the history of who your people are, and from that you create yourself, kind of deal. They're instructions, like instructions. She needs it to be really solid and not just, we're going to have a long talk about be yourself. She needs something more concrete. All right. So what we are going to look at next, that's what she's looking for, is like instruction. And that's sort of the role you have in that. When you look up from that cup, you tell her how to express herself. Which is probably going to be a journey for yourself. Most of us have not really explored really deeply how to express ourselves, even in ways we're scared to or shy to. Mostly as we grow, because we're like, I can't. I just learned how to express myself. I can't learn how to re-express myself. That's where we get stuck. That we can re-express ourselves. All right. So the means Jessie original has to for her daughter into how to guide her, and we have the lovers, and of course this, you absolutely love your child. You absolutely love your child fully, completely, unconditionally. And so one of the ways you can guide her is to express that. And so that she can learn to express it too. The lovers is also where we choose for ourselves. So that goes back into the cards we saw in the first part of this reading about expressing her identity. All right. So the means that you work on that, are not obvious means, like, of course, you can the lover's card makes sense. That's obvious. What is less obvious? Teaching her how to have good friendships. she really needs good friendships. All preteens, everybody needs good friendships. Preteens especially need good friendships. So you can develop the skills to teach her what it is that she needs to do to recognize a healthy friendship and an unhealthy friendship, how to be a healthy friend, and how to set boundaries for healthy friends. So that's something that you can run and bring forward into develop. And the means that you can look to other people for, we have burden. I think in some ways this speaks to asking, family to do sleepovers. So there's special time with aunties, uncles, and grandparents and cousins that is always really important. And it builds a lot of strength for our children. But since we saw identity come forward, also think about family members and aunties and cousins, and think of those who can help her with positive identity. Think about who's really going to be able to help her explore some of her positive identities alongside her, who's going to lift that up. And I'm not saying that family members who aren't good at that and don't have good positive self identities should not be seeing it. No, none of that. But think about those who do have good positive self identity and can teach that to your preteen, in so that you can ask them to just straight up say, this is really important right now, that I need my preteen to have extra help and assistance from family members who get this. And I would like you to take the opportunity to demonstrate it, talk about it, etc. All right. Yeah. And I will get better at all this live feed stuff, my friends. I do promise that I will. I do see one person in here. If you're not just the original, ask for a oracle card reading. If you are, you could go ahead also. If not, I will sign off and let this go. And I hope all of you who are seeing it in replay are really enjoying it and appreciating it. And sign up for your question to be next week. See you later, folks.